Hi there, and welcome to the Mindset Mastery Summit, a free online training summit where we are discussing how to shift your mindset for greater joy, inner peace, and resilience in order to live your best life. I'm your host, Shelley Roberts. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Ilona Selke, best-selling author and CEO and co-founder of Living from Vision. Ilona Selke is an international best-selling author, seminar leader, lecturer, and musician, as well as CEO and co-founder of Living from Vision. Over 30 plus years, Ilona has inspired thousands of people worldwide to discover the power of their consciousness and create a successful life. She has written 4 books, produced 25 music and meditation CDs, and co-authored 2 books, one with Brian Tracy of Hay House and one with Jack Canfield. Her new book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, offers real-life stories of transformation as well as practical tips anyone can use to shape-shift their lives from the inside out. Ilona, I'm so glad to have you on the summit with us today.
Wow. Thank you so much, Shelley. Thank you for taking it upon you to create a show that helps people get tools. And I am super excited about this interview because we had some very deep personal sharing just before this, and we want to bring these nuggets into this interview. So stay tuned for some pretty hard-hitting information here.
Yes, absolutely. We want it to be actionable and also very informative. So can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and maybe what inspired you to write Dream Big, The Universe is Listening?
Oh, sure. I'm talking to you right now here from Bali. That's actually hand-carved here in Bali. I just finished giving lectures and workshops at the Bali Spirit Festival, and I invite everybody to come for this 1-week celebration every year in April. It's awesome. We run a retreat center up here. It's called Shambhala up in North Bali, right on the ocean. And that was one of those things that I simply dreamt up. My husband and I of 35 years, lived in Hawaii for 12 years back. And I kept saying, when I get old and have white hair, I'd like to have my own ashram and teach, because I figured I'd be stationary and then people could come to see me instead of me traveling around the planet. So many techniques that I've described in the book Dream Big, The Universe is Listening are stories I've collected over the last 30 years of people making miracles happen through specific, simple, easy to learn steps of how to improve their lives, their health, their psychology, getting the money they want, living their jobs living the lives they want and getting the jobs they want, living a life of purpose. And some of the stories are so far out, you really have to bend the perspective of what life is. And that's what it says in the title, Dream Big, because the universe is listening. And we have, in the millenniums before us, known that people pray. And actually, one of my first large prayers was after I'd studied a number of psychotherapy techniques that said, please, God, give me a technique that really delivers and really works. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met Dr. Vern Wolf and Holodynamics, also Dr. Rod Newton, and Living from Vision, our 5-week online course which teaches people manifestation courses, but then also past life regression, breath work, and the access of the higher mind came out of that, after that prayer. So number one actionable step that I can recommend to anybody is to start communicating with the universe. Ask for help. Whatever it is. It could be just to fulfill a wish. It could be to get you out of a tough situation. Most people probably remember the book Eat, Pray, Love that got a lot of people to come to Bali. Remember when she falls on her knees in the bathroom and sobs? She had this abusive husband and she's like, God, please help me. And from that moment on, her life turned. And that is the number one actionable result. It doesn't matter if we believe in a white beard. I don't think that's what God is. But there is a force. And that's why I say the universe is listening. There is a force that listens to us. And we learned, it's the number one technique, just start talking every day. Where are my keys? I say it out loud. I need this, say it out loud. Talk to the universe. You don't have to be considered kooky. I just usually say it to my husband, and then the keys are right there. The thing I need, the person, the book, the connection, all is right there.
That's so amazing.
Number one, actionable results, talk to the universe and ask for what you need.
Yes, absolutely. So when somebody is living in their head and in some negative circumstances, does
Mm.
that technique really help, or is there more to it?
Oh, there's a lot more to it, but I think it's one of the fundamental understandings that if we get that there is a larger force on our side, that we can ask for help. We already have a friend. We have a force that goes, okay, you asked. That's number one. I'll answer. Knock on the door and you shall be given, you know. Even the Bible says that. I can give you some very easy techniques to follow. For example, when you're in the middle of something that isn't working, the trick is that we tend to feel like we're in the middle of this movie, we're involved, we're like upset this isn't working, and we're hitting our head, so to speak, against this tar ball or fist, you know. And the more we hit, the more we get stuck. It just absorbs us.
Mhm.
So the first number one word to remember is to stop. Stop playing the drama and just step out of it like a soap opera. Just hit the stop button. Go look around. The TV isn't going to run away. It's just look around and go, take a deep breath. One breath. You can do two. Smell the flowers. Look at what is around you and say, wait. I am looking. I am the driver in the driver's seat. Let's just stop. The moment you do that, the universe goes, wait, she woke up or he woke up. It's, they stop the drama. So it's almost like you're in a movie and you go like, okay, this is a scary movie. I'm not going to get scared now. And you step out of the involvement and you let yourself be in a moment of an observer. Now, mindfulness training is leaning heavily on that. So you can do it very easily by just stop the game, stop the involvement, just stop and look. And next, while you've looked at it and you go, well, this isn't working the way I want it, you say, what do I really want? What do I really want? I may not like this. What I really want is this. And no matter how odd it looks, like I sat in trains and airports and airplanes that weren't leaving, that weren't flying, that weren't arriving in a place. I was landing in Washington, D.C. It was supposed to go to Washington, D.C., flew to Baltimore, Maryland because of a thunderstorm, and I said, this is the wrong movie. I'm missing to teach my dolphin seminar if this is happening. And I just no, wrong movie. I rearranged the molecules in my consciousness, refocused until I could believe that I was in a different movie. Now, it takes practice, but you can just remember, stop, look, and then think of what you really want and choose and feel the fulfilled feeling, if just for a moment. Give yourself 5 minutes of a luxury vacation of feeling fulfillment. So you look, stop, look, choose, envision being in that new reality. Do that 5 minutes a day. And actually, just to make it easier, I'm going to give an app away with a guided meditation on it where you can do that every morning. If you get into a positive mindset and habituate your mind to pre-envision success, instead of what the rest of the world mostly does, which is envisioning their drama. Because being a drama queen is easy. Having success takes guts. So
Yeah.
you have to go, am I ready? Am I willing? Am I wanting to live fulfilled? Or do I prefer to be the victim? Which one is more fun?
So
And
the
when you
app,
say, I'd rather have success,
yes.
then listen to that app, morning and evening, 12 minutes. Doesn't take much. It's the LFV, Living from Vision Light app, free of charge on your phone, everywhere you go. So stop, look, choose is one of the techniques you can do if you find yourself in the busyness. You move and you take a look. It's mindfulness exercising, becoming the observer, which says you activate the higher part of you that isn't just reacting, but starting to choose. And by becoming the observer, then the things will line up in your universe, sometimes magically, to where the things you envision become reality.
That's
So
so amazing.
stop, look, choose.
Yes. So those of us who may be in negative circumstances and we're churning on them, that technique helps us to get out of that churn and allows us then to turn a corner maybe into a more positive experience or at least a better place of mind in the same experience.
Right. It can actually, when I sat in that airplane that was landing in Maryland and they had announced, thank you, we're just landed in Baltimore, Maryland. And I said, can't be. I wrote this up in the book with Brian Tracy, The Big Secret. I said, no, This universe is a hologram. Your mind interacts with this big universe on a holographic level, and whatever you carry in a focused manner in your consciousness will manifest around you if it's in alignment with your soul. Now, it takes a little while to get that strong of a focus going, and in some areas we feel naturally more confident than others. However, with practice, I have taught thousands of people all over the world, in China, in Singapore, in Australia, in America, in France, in Canada, in Spain, in South America, in Europe, in Germany, in Switzerland, in England, in Africa, in all different mindsets and cultural backgrounds. What we need to realize is that we can change the chemistry of our consciousness through taking time and realizing, and this is one big thing, realize that whatever thing that we experience that's negative, at its core, if you ask it, if you say, what do you really want to this something not so nice? What do you really want? It'll tell you. It wants love, empowerment, expression of beauty, giving love, all sorts of positive things, being seen, being heard, justice. So if you manage to then dialogue with the negative emotion, maybe it's turning and going, it's like so inside, you go like, okay, this red fireball. Like when I was on my way to a train station coming late, I had this fireball in my tummy, and I'm like going, well, come on, let me look at you. And I looked at this energetic, imaginary fireball, and I said, what are you doing? And it said, oh, I'm making a big fuss. I was all steamed up. And I said, okay, what do you really want? Well, and it said, duh, I want to arrive on time. Okay. I was smart enough to say, what would that look like if you already had what you wanted? And what would that feel like? It's shifting away from this hypnotic attention to what isn't working to the building energy to what is working, and allowing ourselves a moment of luxury, of peace, and asking this negative thing, what do you really want? If it was abuse, it wanted love. If it was injustice, if it's anger, if it's insecurity, if it's feeling too small, it wants feeling empowered. And allow yourself to feel the fulfillment, the feeling of already being where you want to be. Now, once you get there, you take the old energy, say, thank you. Instead of pushing it away, you go, wow, you're my friend. And let it be absorbed into the new. I have a children's book on it, a children's book with an app with guided meditations for children. It's called Alan Learns to Use His Imagination. It's on Amazon. If you Google my name on Amazon or Google, if you go to Amazon, put in Ilona Selke, it's Ilona, Selke, Selke. You can get all my books, read them there. If you sign for that app, you actually get one of my best-selling books, Wisdom of the Dolphins, for free as an ebook. So the children's book is available as an app. It's on my website. But children learn how to refocus their negative energy into positive creation, and they become co-creators. And I have children tell me they feel like they have a magic wand in their hand with this technique.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
And very fun, very fun. When we realize we're co-creators with the universe, all of our opportunities open up to us.
Yes, and you can start living your dream. You can dream big. It doesn't really matter how big. If you truly in your heart and soul feel that's what I want, it'll come about. I like to say, dear universe, this or better be, I'd like to have that higher guidance guide me, because I don't want to live in a castle if I were to be there alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I like that little co-creation aspect with the universe. But yeah, it becomes really fun. And it's a day-to-day job. Nobody's ever finished.
Yes, no, that's amazing. So if someone has like maybe chemical imbalances in their body, what happens then? Is it a different equation that kind of helps them to be a co-creator?
Yeah, I have had friends clients who, tried all the techniques and they lift themselves out of a slump. It's those people who probably, there are different types of people. There are people who know they have a real problem. There are people who think they just have a lot of low self-esteem and they loathe in it rhythmically, like every few weeks, 6 weeks. And people who self-doubt themselves, maybe had a very stern upbringing, there is a combination between a lot of negative input as a child, but also, and this is important, I'm glad you asked it, I've had the beautiful gift for realizing something very amazing, and that is the brain-gut connection. And there is a book out on the brain-gut connection I urge everybody to read, because nowadays a lot of people eat bad foods, a lot of sugars, which, and then but people who have an imbalance, oftentimes I've found out we have Neanderthal blood in us. We mixed the modern human and the Neanderthals mixed, and those people who have about 4% in their gene code tend to have a problem absorbing certain foods. Now, there are doctors called methylating doctors, and you can get an analysis. You can do a gene code analysis with the health aspect and then also have your blood analyzed. Those people, if they get pre-digested vitamins or supplements, the body can then absorb and finally get the nutrients they hadn't had, and then that can feed the brain, and a lot of the imbalances can go from one of my best psychics, Susan Wagner, told me a story of her ex-husband who had manic depression, and he went to a methylating doctor, and in combination with his DNA analysis on the health department as well as the blood, found out what he was lacking, took this methylated substances, pre-digested substances, and was helped by 80%. He didn't even have to go down the heavy road of, 80%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I have another moment. I want to tell you something happened to me. When I was 26, I worked at a project day and night, and I was so excited about it. And I did what people do, get really overzealous sometimes and burned out. My burnout looked like this. I thought there were entities all over. There were people after me. I was afraid. I started crying at the drop of a hat at anything. I got up and was like, well, why work? I don't really need to. And it came on, but it wasn't one of those things where you got to go, oh, something just started today. It's like comes on and then it gets kind of into a rhythm of, and then maybe there are better days and there are worse days. And I tried everything under the sun, like breathing and doing my walking and, typical things to get one out of depression. Exercising is excellent. Actually, I think exercise can do most of it. Going walking every day, seeing the sunshine. But I had a prayer, and I said, actually, a longer story, but I'll just make it short. With the help of another device, went back to the time when I started with a burnout and asked for the solution. And within 5 minutes, I was at a seminar. Somebody comes up to me and says, Ilona, do you realize Dr. Bob Beck is sitting 3 chairs down from you? And he's the one who developed the brain tuner. It tunes the brain. Now, he's since died. He helped people get off of heroin with this device, but we're not mentioning that. This device is now available from SOTA, S-O-T-A, in Canada, called the BioTuner. And I just put it on. Actually, I made my husband try it first with electrical things, and it's a cranial electrical stimulator. It stimulates the brain cranially. And I did it for 3 weeks, and I was normal. I was like, oh my God, I could see the color red. I could see flowers again. I didn't cry anymore. I didn't think there was some bad boogeyman under my bed anymore. And it was like a miracle.
Wow.
Now, of course, this is that's a non-approved unit. But there are doctors who know about CES, cranial electrical stimulation, and there are approved units out on the market. This one is $250 in Canada from SOTA, S-O-T-A. You can Google it, BioTuner. Anyhow, I absolutely grateful that I had that experience, because it's easy to be tempted to say, oh, come on, you can do it. Just think positively. Come on, And sometimes you do need to look at the biochemistry. So thank you for asking that question.
Oh, absolutely. I firmly believe that there's a mind-body connection. And you had mentioned the mind and the gut connection. I know from myself and my experience, when I'm churned up in my head, that I feel it in my gut, and they're, I'm churned up here. I'm also churned up in my gut as well at the same time. So
right.
I've actually experienced that connection.
And have you ever found that slowing down your breath can slow down that whole churning? Do you ever do that?
Absolutely. I think for me, that was the primary technique that, when I calmed down what was going on up here, the rest of
Mm.
me calmed down too. And taking a deep breath and becoming still was,
Humming. Mhm.
yeah, was the
Yeah.
key thing. So
You know, mm,
I was going to ask you about your app. Does it help to do that?
well, it slows your brain down. It goes and brings your brain into the alpha brain waves and into feeling. And a lot of the questions are towards pre-experiencing success, not as a mental thinking thing, but as a feeling capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets the body-mind connection going, because the secret about the universe is the language of the universe is your subconscious mind, which combines feeling and images and knowing, just an internal process. The neocortex that thinks just spins wheels. It's good. It's good when you have to cross a street and say, okay, I have another 2 seconds to, before the car comes. It's good to book your appointments, but it's not really good at solving magical problems or emotional issues or even creating success in the future. So pre-creating positive internal feeling states is part of that. So, and I would really recommend, I have a little course called the Yogic Breath and Chakra Exercises, but just a quick one here. Breathing in through one nostril, holding the breath for the same count, and then breathing out through the other nostril. Holding that breath at the bottom, and then breathing through the same nostril in. Holding it and then breathing out. Just, this is called the yogic breath. I have an online school, Ilona Selke.online, where I teach that. And that is an easy technique to calm yourself down and calm your chemistry down.
Focus
And of
on
course, not drinking coffee along with it would help.
take a breather moment if it's a walk, or if it's a deep cleansing breath, or becoming still in some way, and
Mm-hmm.
focusing on something more positive and positively energetic than the churning going on in our brain, right?
That is right.
That is
And
so.
I do the yogic breath for a couple minutes, and it really drops the oxygen, and carbon dioxide kind of does a trick on the brain and slows the entire system down to where you can see the colors again.
Oh, that's so amazing. I all of a sudden I just felt so peaceful. When
Yeah.
you said that, I just felt so peaceful. So we have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
I wanted to go into something a little bit more positive. When you
Mm-hmm.
say live from vision, if you can imagine your best life and what that looks like, how do you then translate that into the images and the feelings so that you can then experience
Okay. All right. Well, this is really squeezing it in. I teach a lengthier process in the course, Living from Vision. It's a 5-segment course. People can do it in 5 weeks or 10 weeks, however they wish, but it takes daily practice. So here we go. When you want to envision something, you can simply describe it in your mind first, but then run a little movie. How would that look like if that were really that way? How would it affect my life? How would it be? And then you drop into the feeling of it. If it were already happening right now, oh my God, how would that feel? And you move in your visceral body down to your spinal feeling, into that fulfilled feeling. And then we have a little trick. We create a metaphor for that feeling, because the brain likes to think in images that are not necessarily realistic. So I had a guy manifesting a $30,000 car, an Audi Cabriolet, when he was beginning to start teach this program. We also have a teacher training program. And as one of his first goals, he manifested that car in 3 weeks. And by not envisioning the car, but by envisioning feeling free like a dove flying. So what he wanted was a state of feeling. We don't really need an object, a thing. This isn't going to make me happy, but what's attached or feeling within this, or what it evokes in me, is what makes me happy. So detaching ourselves from the objective world and creating fulfillment subjectively first gives the message to the universe, this is what I feel like, okay, let's make more of this. Whatever you're occupying, that is what the universe is going to like duplicate, like a blueprint. So be the blueprint creator, the co-creator, give it over to the universe, and be sure you have a fulfilled state. And creating a metaphor for the feeling makes it easier to stay with that final feeling state. You know, instead of getting caught in the car being the object, it's like I want to feel free, like the dove flying, you know. So those are the 4 steps. But it, you know, that's
It
it
takes
gives us
practice.
ideas, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it takes practice. It's not quite that
Yeah.
easy. So
Well, it is easy once you practice it, but it does, like you say, it does take practice. Yes.
so really quick. So how does your app help to contribute to the practice needed to stay in a good mental place? How
Well,
does it?
it gets you there. I guide people with voice exercises into pre-envisioning a goal, and then also diving into what really fulfills their soul and getting into a place of peace. Various aspects that if we rehearse them, we can call, and first of all, it produces results. Second of all, we can do it even in dire situations. Let's say in a car traffic jam, yeah? And you go, my place of peace, oh, where is that again? Instead of getting the chemistry churned up, which starts the negative cycle going, then maybe we feel like having coffee, then we feel like eating sugars, then the gut gets the wrong messages, then the brain gets foggy, and then we feel crashing. You know, we slow it down in the moment of the first onset of something, and practicing is something as simple as going daily into your place of peace will entrain your body chemistry and your mind to go, wait a second, it's a problem. I don't want to go there. Where do I want to be? Okay. And then if even, you know, people like badmouth themselves and criticize themselves, say 10 good things. After you've said one bad thing to someone else or yourself, say 10 good things. And I love myself, or this too I can learn to love. So those are things that if you rehearse them, and that's what the app does, every day, every morning, and every evening for only 12 minutes, you get a mini vacation. And then you get into the habit and you start seeing results. And then you go like, wow, I like this. And then your mind gets like, well, let's do more of that, you know, because I like to feel fulfilled.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said before about happiness being a feeling inside of you, not hooked onto something external to you.
Yeah.
So your inside is your subconscious is feeling and emotion. What did you say? Emotion and imagery.
Yeah. So the subconscious speaks in the language of, for some people it's imagery or just a knowing, but we get these flashes, you know, it's not words that get printed out. It's, if we have a goal, we probably print it out in words, but ultimately it becomes this instant, that's what I mean. And then there's a feeling with it that we feel. And then maybe there could be a symbolic image, like a light bulb that goes off or a bird that flies, you know, and that could represent that feeling. So we have multiple aspects of our brain working in conjunction to create whole brain thinking. And that's what we teach in the Living from Vision, to activate the left brain, the right brain, and the limbic brain together and make them work as a whole. And as they found out, now when you train in brain entrainment, if you turn on both sides, you have actually a scalar field producer in your brain. Let's not go further. We have books out on that. My husband has written a book called Where Science Meets Magic, where it talks about scalar field production. It's off the charts. It is a whole field of study of a miraculous understanding of the holographic universe, and people get results. Farmers get results. I mean, the website is called S, like in Sam, E, like in energy, dash minus sign 5.com. People can get the book there for free, se-5.com. So it's a whole nother world. I don't want to take up our time here, but it is magical what happens when we start looking behind the curtain.
Yeah, yeah. And I think with that, we are just about out of time. So I want to tell the audience the free app that Ilona is offering is the Living from Vision Light app that has the practice 12 minutes a day right there.
And evening. Mm-hmm.
Morning and evening.
Yep.
To help get into the habit of taking that breath and living practicing living your best life. And the link to this will be at the bottom of our video. And Ilona, I can't imagine that we could have fit in anything else.
Oh my God, this is
It
a
was
short, quick,
short.
and hopefully lots of actionable results. You can say stop, look, choose,
Yep.
step out of the drama, re-envision what you really want, and do that as often as you can. I mean, people have made miracles. If you just take 5 minutes a day, feeling the end result of your dream, of whatever dream you have, you will get the results. I've seen people come back from skeletons to full vibrancy, people who've had chronic diseases for 17 years or longer, people who were in wheelchairs, people who applied this to their daily life, visualizing every day the outcome that they want and feeling it. Feeling it, the fulfillment in advance, will get the results. It might take a little while. Some people get it within weeks. Depends on whether, like one person who was in a wheelchair, he took 4 years. He could walk after 4 years.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
miraculous. Even
yeah,
after 4 years. Yeah.
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 There was one lady, she couldn't eat anymore. Her stomach was all black with these splotches in her, as a Bali woman. And I said, just envision feeling your strengthy self. And she did it every day. And after 6 months, she was back to normal. And she's like, I just did what you told me to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this
So we
works.
apply ourselves, we get results.
Yes,
The universe
absolutely.
is-
Well, I
Mhm.
think that we've taken away quite a lot from this. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that you were able to share so much with us.
Yes.
And it was a
Thank
delight
you
to have
too.
you on the summit, Ilona. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally.
And for our audience, take a look in your inbox for the next interviews, and we'll see you again soon on the Mindset Mastery Summit.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally, for having this summit for
Thank
Mindset
you.
Mastery. It was
My
awesome.
pleasure.
Bye.